Ah, there we are. My camera came on, but the indicator for recording wasn't going. So, anyways, what is up, folks? I am One Big Bugga, and this is Euro Truck Simulator 2. I'm continuing on. I guess this is kind of like a healing thing for me after going through this entire year and dealing with everything. Um, ah, Sorry, my mind got a little lost again. What else is new? Um, Hang on, let me gather myself. This is my first day back to work and getting up at 5 in the morning after almost a week. So you gotta bear with me a little bit. But yes, I'll go more into that when we get driving. Let's get our job. I don't think I drove there yet. I was gonna take this, but this has this long ferry, and then this has a short ferry. And then there's this, which goes all the way down to Poland. So it'd be between these three. But due to the fact this is 16,000 versus 24, I mean, even if you removed the 430 off of this, this is 814 kilometers. This is 566. Now, it's going to take me through two towns I've already been through, where this will take me up through plenty of places I haven't been. So yeah, we'll do this, and we'll take the ferry to here, and then who knows? Maybe we'll get to drive around this way and come down rather than have to take another ferry. Maybe we'll go this way. Who knows? But we're gonna take this one. I'm gonna avoid this one at 18,000 with this long ferry ride that goes across the shore here. I'd rather go north, so we're gonna take that one. And this will give me plenty of time to talk. So if you haven't figured it out by now, um, a lot of these episodes are going to be random length. I don't know how long I'm going to talk or, you know, what I'm going to say, how many runs I'm going to do. Maybe I'll do an entire run, or maybe I'll just do a run that's long enough to get to a rest stop. I'll talk between rest stops, and then I'll stop, um, or I'll do an entire long run that requires a rest stop and for me to keep going, like I used to do. There's a car coming. I could have gone, but yeah, I could have easily gone. But it's all right. Oh, it's flashing. Yeah, yeah. I like this change where a lot of the lights flash at night rather than functioning, which is how a lot of places work nowadays. And if they don't work like that, where the lights flash at night, so you don't have to stop, but where you can like proceed through as long as there's no traffic, then they have sensors where the light immediately switches once it senses a car. Although that's not quite as efficient, because what that can cause is we're like at a car dealership. Oh, we're delivering scooters. Well, yeah, that makes sense, I guess. Yes. Uh, oh, there it is. I was like, where's the trailer? That's it, but it's not lit up. No, it wasn't it. It's back there. Though the sensor ones aren't as efficient because you still pretty much got to come to a full stop before it'll change, and then you end up going right away again. Where the flashing lights, you can keep a little bit of momentum, you know. That's a little bit better for fuel economy, and a little bit better to keep the flow going. And yes, this is another one of those trailers that has the extra rear axle set further back. that also steers. Now, the benefit here is the ferry. There's a benefit to the ferry, yes, other than it costing you money to go across, which is included um, into the fare. And that is if you can get to the ferry on time, if you get to the ferry before you have to rest, you're like deep into your rest, you're going to need a rest in an hour or two. The ferry counts at least as a partial rest, depending on how long the ferry is. So that'll usually be enough to get you to your destination. Or I should say sometimes be enough to get you to your destination, which is pretty neat. I'm going to have to turn anyway, so I'm going to be... Well, I overslowed down, but again, that's partly due to the brakes being stronger than they should. And we don't want to hit the policia, or whatever they're called here. But yeah, to talk about uh, COVID a little bit more and what's been going on in terms of that, still staying out of the political. Whoa, bad turn, but it's okay. Um, Back when COVID started, um, I had just gone to Minnesota to bring back my fiance, my girlfriend, my fiance, and funny enough, I drove up there to get her in my truck and drove back hauling a 5 foot by 8 foot U-Haul trailer all the way back, and things went fine. But as it's rain. I really need to switch that. I really shouldn't put on the cruise control right now because we're about to hit a curve into a circle into whatever. But to put it out there, sheesh, where'd I learn to drive? Um, I'm not gonna come no forward. Hello, gear up a little more. We got here after a few weeks, like quite literally 2 weeks. Now, mind you, this is the first time my fiance had ever been away from home for any duration that didn't involve her parents, where she was more than like 15 minutes away. In other words, she traveled away from her home plenty of times. There were times that she would ride with her dad while he was uh, over the road trucking. Her dad was an over the road trucker. And so she'd rode with him to like Texas and whatnot. And she had gone with them on family trips to other states. But really, if I remember correctly, she'd never been away from home by herself further than about 15 or 20 minutes, staying at like her sister's house or something like that. And I'm just going to say that when I say sister, I mean sort of sister-in-law. They're not even married yet, although they are finally engaged, but they're not married yet. Um, I'm going to leave thoughts of my sister-in-law unsaid beyond you can already tell my thoughts. Not exactly, but I'm going to ramble on here if I don't stop. Anyways, so this is the first time she's ever been really away from home like this. And she's doing really well. There's the missing home and whatnot, but she's doing really well. literally 2 weeks after, and if you've watched my vlogs, you've probably heard this before, but she literally gets a phone call from her dad. Now, the fact that her father called her, and I forget if like when she picked up the phone, she said, "Oh, it's my dad," or what, but I knew it was her dad that had called. Watching the speed, walk at 110 as I like try to run guys off the road. But I knew it had been her dad that called. Oh yeah, the road's gonna narrow up here, isn't it? Yep. Okay. So for her dad to call was really odd, and just for the fact it was her father that called, I just got this really kind of ominous feeling that something was wrong. Just something really bad was wrong. And it was worse than I could have imagined. I thought something bad happened to her mom. Did her mom get really sick? Was in the hospital? Maybe her sister, one of her brothers. I mean, one of her brothers is does repair work on windmills. They have a lot of windmills up there for electricity in her area. So um, we got a pretty good view here. I should not be doing this now. What we'll do is we'll go like past the. Sorry, I didn't mean to brake that hard again. I thought maybe something bad happened like that, but unfortunately, and I know she could probably hear me, and it's upsetting her a little bit. Sound carries really well in this house. Um, but her mother had passed away. Um, Obviously, it was unexpected, sudden. Mother said she wasn't feeling well, that she was really tired, and she went to go to sleep, and the father decided to give her time on her own, and he went upstairs, and when he came down, she was gone. So that was just 2 weeks after she left. So we had to emergency fly back to um, Minnesota, and this was as the pandemic was taking hold and as travel restrictions were starting to become a thing. So we flew back to Minnesota. We were there for a week. We did as much as we could to help. And we had to fly back. And it was just at that point, God, I keep hitting those brakes way too hard. I need to change the braking in this game. I can do that now because the braking is just like, it's way too um, random road events down here. Braking intensity. There we go. Why don't we bring that down a bit more? All right. Oh, that's my Facebook. Excuse me, just a minute. I need to check this. I really need to check this. All right, I can message that person in a minute. It's a treadmill I'm looking for. I'll message them when this is done. That braking's way too stiff still. But and bad enough that as we were flying back, my girlfriend fell sick, and she had a cough, and she wasn't doing well. She may have even been running a fever. For all I know, she may have had COVID, and we just didn't know it. But she didn't have problems breathing. She had a cough. She may have had a fever. It could have been just a cold. We don't know. She may have already had COVID at some point. At which point I would have gotten it, but then I would have passed it on to my mother. But regardless, that's way in the past now. And so, also, what I had set up prior to, I believe, even go getting her is I set up my first and what would probably be my only trip to Disney World. We're going to go to Disney World, spend a week in Disney World, go see Disney World, go to Universal Studios, maybe go to SeaWorld, and then also visit my father. It would be the first time I've gone to Florida to visit my father. Still a little rough on the steering stick here. Getting used to it still. So that, of course, ended up getting canceled because Disney shut down. You couldn't travel. So I got all that money back, but for what purpose, you know? And who knows if I'll be able to afford to go to Disney again. And I'm going to try with everything I have. Try and get to Disney again. Um, I don't like the look of this corner. At least double tapping the brake like that didn't bring me to a screeching halt. Um, so that got canceled, and that was supposed to be my big proposal time too. I bought my girlfriend this beautiful engagement ring slash wedding ring. Oh, come off it. And I was going to propose to her at Disney in front of the Princess Castle, and of course that never happened. I did propose to her, not really the way I wanted. It was out in Provincetown. We went out there for a day while we could. After some COVID restriction uh, relaxings up around my birthday. Um, so we went up there. And of course, all this time, schools were shut down. There was no schools. So I didn't have my school job. I was sitting around all day, every day, not doing jack squat. And it just got depressing. You know, and I played video games for a while, but I can't figure out if I need to step on the brake or the gas. You being in front of me is really killing my mojo. Okay, we're not even going 70. Oh, I think that's car limit, and the truck limit's actually slower. Um, yeah, with me in video games, it never really lasts long. I almost never finish a game that I'm playing because I tend to lose interest in it. Or if I really am vested in a game, I don't finish it because, all right, this is bad. Oh, I did tap him. I got panicky. God, not doing well this. Did that damage the trailer? No. Okay, well, we're not doing so hot as we've lost about 500 euros on this trip already. I need to settle down a bit more. I got panicky. I started passing him, was not paying attention to the map to see that we were coming up to a hard right-hand corner, which would give me very, very limited vision. So yeah, that was a bad thing to pass him right there. But I'm more into telling my story than I am of driving, so that's why I'm not paying attention as much as I should. Um, but anyways, yes, please turn right here. Thank you. And the one game I played that, oops, I would delve into a lot for the day is World of Tanks. Problem behind World of Tanks is it tends to become rage-inducing even after a little while, and so I ended up losing a lot of interest in World of Tanks. So with my interest in World of Tanks diminished, oh, I didn't mean to do that. I meant to do this. Oh, my lights weren't on again. Surprised I didn't get in trouble for. Oh no, that's high beams. Duh. Forgetting what my controls are. I wanted to hit my wipers in order to clear my windshield a little bit more. Yeah, I forgot to silence my phone again. And probably going to get a lot of that. If it does it a bit more, then I will just pause the game and shut it up. But you're lucky that's all of them. But I will slow it down a bit more because it looks like we're going through a town. And we just lost another 200 euros. That takes us up to 700. Man, I'm doing good at losing money. I should have slowed down more, and I knew it. I knew there'd be a speed camera here. All right, phone. You win. No. Shut up. Okay, we're good. All right. Let's see if I can focus a bit more on the game and try not to get any more losses of money. This is something I used to do when I originally played. I just drove so fast. I didn't care about speed limits. I didn't care about accidents. I just drove and I'd lose money. I remember that a little three-part episode thing I did as the was it the delivery from hell or something like that, the trip from hell, where it's just like something went wrong and it became a whole quicksand thing where something went wrong and then more went wrong and then more went wrong and then more went wrong. I just kept getting worse and worse and worse and worse. I was like, I like badly damaged my truck. I badly damaged the cargo. At one point, I couldn't find a place to sleep, and I ended up getting screwed for not sleeping to the point that I actually blacked out at one point and was lucky enough to wake up before I crashed. But I got all kinds of fines for that: speeding fines, accident fines, just all kinds of stuff. And that whole the whole kit and caboodle, just like it was the worst, most dejecting, most difficult, grinding trip I had ever had in this game, and I couldn't finish it soon enough. But then that's kind of what became the problem. I was trying harder and harder to finish it, and I kept pushing more and more because I wanted to get it done because everything was going wrong. But the more I pushed, the more I caused to go wrong because I was trying too hard. So that's why it's called a quicksand situation. When you get into quicksand, the more you struggle, the faster you sink. It doesn't matter how much you struggle, you're going to keep sinking. The way to get out, or at least to not sink at least as quickly in quicksand, is to not struggle, is to stay calm, try and move very slowly, um, you know, deliberately, things like that. Um, which is the exact opposite of what I did. Brakes are a little bit better. I didn't come slamming to a screeching halt when I did that, so I appreciate that. So yes, I firmly, very firmly remember that run. I remember a lot of my runs uh, were just something significant happened. I remember struggling with this game to get it to run with mods, how the game would constantly crash. I no longer have editing software, so I can't stitch games together. So you're gonna get episode 5 in a much shorter part A and then the longer part B. So there's that. Just gonna go around him. So that way I don't have to break momentum. Maybe instead of 95, we'll try 90. I think that's a better speed. And if that's, well, we're coming up on a hard corner. But if 90 proves to be too much, we could take it down to 85, 80. We can go along however we want. Don't you dare pull out in front of me. Remembering what happened the last time. That AI traffic tends to be a little bit, yeah. I thought the light was flashing because it meant to go through. Then it dawned on me, the light could be flashing because it's about to change, which is something areas of this game it does. So, well, there goes another 300 euros. So what are we up to now? 1,000 euros? I just lost about 1,000 euros? Yeah, great. This is turning into its own little ride from hell. Oh no. No, no, no. No, no. No, no. I learned. I learned. He can be taught, ladies and gentlemen. He can be taught. May take several times, but he can be taught. And look at how cool that monster looks. Look at how cool that truck looks. That's a cool looking truck. Meaning the Renault Magnum there. Look at that. Now, what sets the Renault Magnum apart from other trucks? Um, Obviously, it's how it sits. Where most other trucks that you see on the road, cab overs of any kind, the engine compartment for the cab over comes up into the cab a little bit. Whereas for the Renault, as you can see, it's like two very just. Yeah, I learned. Flashing means you're going to change. I guess he was too far forward. But let's take a quick gander at the map here. Make sure we're not going to miss any. There's no question marks here. But there is one there, but unfortunately that would be like off a highway and I'd have to like do this. So that's not going to help. But it looks like we'll get this one, whatever this is. So that's pretty cool. And we're almost at the ferry. So this is actually really good. Okay. Almost being a relative term. Hello, light. Hello, light. Hello, light. But I gotta honestly say, for everything I've gone through with COVID, um, the person I feel for the most is my mother. When I first came back to take care of my mother, she was living in a very small apartment, one little one bedroom deal. Um, Of course, we moved from there and got a two-bedroom. The one-bedroom apartment was terrible. It was a slum. And if you don't believe me, all I can say is I think within a year after we moved, the building ended up getting condemned. There was a hole in one closet in the hallway from my mother's room that went all the way into the laundry room. There was a hole in the laundry room wall that went outside. So in the winter, all that freezing cold, frigid air came into my mother's apartment. There was a weak spot, a rotted weak spot hole in the floor by our kitchen sink. There was a leak in the ceiling in the bathroom that they had to fix, that they just cut out and patched. There was around the toilet was leaking and getting weak that they had to fix. The landlord had stopped paying for trash pickups. He was having somebody skim the top of the dumpster and take the trash in a pickup truck to the dump. Just all kinds of just like really, you could tell the building had been sliding, or maybe not the building, but stuff had been sliding because like concrete stairs. We're going way too fast. Concrete stairs had separated, had like just broke because the they had slid down away from the apartment. You could tell the apartment foundation, the outer rock foundation was just destroyed. He took off the basement door and put up a freaking board that they screwed into the wall, which is a fire hazard. Um, Down in the basement, they had tons of cans of paint, hundreds of cans of paint, a lot of them without tops on. There was the cobwebs down there were so thick that I needed to cut through when I finally did get down there to reset a electrical box. And even on top of that, there was like a huge dig out in the wall going out into the dirt from the basement. It was insane. It was absolutely insane. The girl upstairs, this young girl who was actually the daughter of the building manager, her furnace went out in the middle of winter and she didn't have any heat. And if you didn't know, that's illegal in Massachusetts, and yet they didn't fix it. They just got a bunch of space heaters for her. We had to give her some of our space heaters because they had nothing. So, like, literally, this guy is just, yeah. And so when we went from there, um, we moved over into Plainville, where I started encouraging my mother to come out of her room and sit in the living room more, which she started doing. Um, and I bought her a really nice TV at the time so that she could watch TV in the living room and not have it like not have to deal with reflection because we were still dealing with the old tube style TVs then, and my mom would keep getting these big old floor projection screen TVs and whatnot. So from there, um, I got her a nice LED TV, a big one that I think now is the one in her room. Um, from there, though, um, it changed things. Uh, Still breaking really damn hard, but it's still better. So not only encouraging her from not being in the room, but I tried to encourage her to get out more. You know, because even going out into staying in the living room, it can't be all that great. And it wasn't. So she did start going out to the senior center, and it was a little rough at first, but things started to get better. She started to enjoy it. Now, unfortunately, the Plainville Senior Center proved to be a problem. They really kind of had this favoritism attitude of people who had been there longer. My mother has a service dog, and her service dog is very well behaved. Her dog Joy stays by her side at all times when she's out. Um, doesn't bark unless there's another dog around, and that dog gets too close. Is very friendly, allows everyone to pet her. Um, doesn't get out of her bed at all, doesn't make any noise, doesn't do anything. And there was another service dog there that was allowed to walk all around. They were allowed to put her paws up on chairs and sniffing with people and whatnot. Now, if you didn't know, this is actually against service dog rules. A service dog must be in control of the owner at all times. For the dog to be allowed to walk around and cause issues, and what they were getting upset was is that Joy would bark at the other dog. Joy was where she belonged, in her bed next to my mother. It was the other dog that was the issue, being allowed to roam free. They tried to tell my mother, I'm just going to stop. They tried to tell my mother, you can't have your dog anymore. This is a service dog. You can't bring your dog anymore here because the other lady's been here longer and she has her dog. I had to go to the town hall, to the Council of Aging, and write them a very um, stern. I know it sounds a little strange. It's true. A very sternly worded letter citing everything I just said. How my mother's dog is a service dog. They don't have the right. On the new recruitment agency. The other place is probably the dealership. How they didn't have the right to reject my mother's dog because it's a service dog. They can't tell her they can't be there. Why they were trying to do it because she was barking at the other dog that was not being kept by its owner's side, was not being controlled, was not kept on her leash, and was free roaming. And I really had to push, and I really had to fight them. Hello. Well, that damaged the trailer for sure. Well, we're just going to chalk this up to a bad run, and part of it's because I am so into what I'm doing. Um, that was I took that corner way too shallow. That was definitely my fault. Let there be no doubt about that. You can stay there. Well, I've lost a lot. I mean, I'm still going to make a decent profit off this, but geez Louise, am I just screwing this up left and right? That's all right. We'll do better on the next one, whatever the next one is. So I really had to fight with them. And there seemed to be this resentment, and mom got shunned a lot more. And it was bad enough that this place was difficult for her to get into already. Yeah, the light is changing. The place was actually, difficult for her to get into because of the way it was constructed, just all kinds of things. Next, we moved to here to Franklin. So now we have a fully handicap accessible apartment. My mom has a handicap accessible shower that she can get into. I can make this poorly, but I can make it. We have a ramp coming up to the front and to the back of the house. We have a very large and wide open living room, an entrance area, and a really big kitchen. So it's all, pretty good. And then we top that off with really working to, once I got my settlement, to give my mom a proper living room. For once in my life, and really for once in her life, I wanted to give my mom something that wasn't used. You know, My mom has made do all her life with secondhand, used, what she could afford, giving people monthly payments, what she could get for free, what she could get people to deliver, and all that. And I wanted her for once in her life to be dealing with something new. And so with that, I mean, there's some things that aren't new, obviously, in there, like the uh, coffee table is not new, but it's very unique and it's in really good shape. It's a very unique coffee table. A few other things, but the TV in there, a brand new 65-inch high definition 4K TV. Really need to pay attention because I almost just freaking ran into that car, and I've done enough damage already. And we got an all new sectional in there, a big L sectional. She got herself a big brown lift recliner that was, you know, really freaking awesome. I'm gonna assume that's not the ferry. No, that can't be the ferry. I'm gonna have to go around this way. But then she traded that off for um, a different lift chair. Am I talking that right? She got herself a big brown lift chair, then she traded it off for a different lift chair just because that lift chair was, purple. Where the hell am I going? I think I need to go in the ferry. Yeah, okay. So let's get this done. We're going here. Um, as of course I got that big grandfather clock out there. I had a different one that I really shouldn't have got rid of. I should have gotten it repaired because it was like so much better. It was an actual antique. It was a beautiful antique that was worth way more than what I bought it for, and definitely worth way more than what I sold it for. But that's beside the point. So I got that grandfather clock out there. There's another. It's supposed to be a grandfather clock, but I call it a grandmother clock because to me it just feels more like a grandmother clock. Um, so she's got a really nice living room that she can be proud of. And on top of that, for once in my life, I've got really good appliances. I bought a brand new gas stove, which when it comes time to move from this apartment, um, I'm not taking with me. It stays with the apartment. I approved this with the landlord. I bought the stove, had it installed. Can't see very well. Cool. I'm gonna cut you off then. Okay, thanks for that. I was thinking we were gonna see a crash. Alright, so he just buzzed through, so likely there's nothing coming. Oh, well, I would be wrong. There was, just not very quickly, fortunately. Actually, I should go here. I also bought a brand new washer and dryer, Samsung washer and dryer. Um, Front loaders with stands. I also bought a brand new 24 and a half cubic foot refrigerator. You know, so I got all of this like really good stuff that my mother can be proud of, and that she can have new instead of used, and secondhand, broken, busted, and all this stuff. Hello, light. I like how I need to make a turn here, but I gotta wait for this damn trolley. You gonna stop? Because it looked like he was gonna stop. But anyways, more than that, more than trying to give her a nice home that she can enjoy for once. I mean, not that she wasn't enjoying what she had. What I mean is, like I said, not secondhand, not used, not free, beat up or anything like that. But, like just for once, new. Just say I got a new couch. I've got a new TV. Oh, and I also got one of those big electric, I mean, huge electric fireplace stands, whatever, mantles, which she really likes. We don't use the heat on it, even though it's set up for it. I got it to put the TV on, and we use it obviously for storage, as it's got a couple cabinets and drawers on it. And my mother really just likes the fire display, which is what she runs with it. The little fire display. She doesn't actually run the heat. So we have 3 hours and 23 minutes to the end of this job, and 4 hours and 54 minutes to our next rest stop. And all of that is thanks to the ferry, which gave us a little bit of a reprieve. Although again, I have not been doing this run very well, and that's because again, I'm talking more and struggling between talking and playing because I haven't done this in so long. Not to this extent. So I have not been doing really what I should. But even with the loss, we'll still make a decent profit off this, even if we're to get hit with the loan anytime soon. Should just be able to dart right up here at this speed. Yep, nice and easy. So overall, um, I'm really proud of what's in here, but even for all this is, my mother's stuck in here. And what makes it even harder, and the whole point I was trying to get to in all of this that I've gone in, is that she started going to, God, I wasn't paying attention for, I'm just giving up on this run, I swear. Is she started going to the Franklin Senior Center. And because that's up on the bridge. We won't get that question mark there, and that's a dealership too. Oh well, we'll get it another time maybe. But the Franklin Senior Center is an entire world of difference than the Plainville one. I mean, it's a big, much more professional area. Keep doing that, which is why I gotta change my controls. It's a big professional area. They have like senior volleyball, which is just like a really low net with a beach ball that they bat around, and they have pool. They do different things. They have a big cafeteria lunch and all kinds of things. And people there are much more friendly. They're much more accepting. They love my mother's dog, and she's having so much fun and making new friends. And then COVID, just in case you decide to come out. She gets hit with COVID, or not she, but COVID hits, and now she hasn't been out of the house since like March, save for a few occasional things, which was like to go pick out a cell phone at the mall, and doctor's appointments. She used to go shopping with me once a month. She doesn't do that anymore, not only because of COVID, but also because, yep, there's the loan, but also because she just can't anymore. She's, just gotten that. Sadly, that's sick, I guess you could say. It's not like, not even sick like that. Well, I guess in a way it is. I mean, physically, but also she is on an oxygen machine now. And we don't have like a portable oxygen machine. We don't have large oxygen bottles that she can go out on. For her insurance, which is, you retired, you qualify for Medicare. Um, she only gets these little tiny bottles that they're only good for a couple hours. So there's a question of even getting her to the senior center when COVID is lifted. And she's really been struggling with being stuck in the house, not being able to go anywhere, not being able to do anything. And, you know, let me be honest, and I've got to drop my voice a little bit for this one. There really is no telling how many more years she has left. She has her good days and bad, and I've seen this before. When this happened to my father-in-law when I was married, he didn't last a year. My grandmother, when this happened, was a year and a half, maybe 2 years. My grandfather, although that was on my father's side, went through something like this. He lived to like well into his 90s. There's no telling. My mother, though, is, very overweight. She actually outweighs me now. Um, and she has a very long slew of problems, of medical conditions. So, there's a lot going on right now. And it's all these things, all these thoughts like this that really tend to weigh in on me. And you throw in, I've basically been in a political war with my girlfriend's family because they're very vehement Trump supporters, conspiracy theorists. Um, they are what you see a lot of Trump supporters being. Right. We should really keep an eye out for cameras on this bridge because this is a lot of places, but there are a lot of places where like cameras will be located is on a bridge. But you have a right to support who you want. I guess you have a right to believe what you want, but don't expect to be able to put that belief up online and not have somebody call you out on it. And that's where a lot of my issues came in with her family, is that I would fact check what they were saying. You know, one time, one of her family members linked that pictures that was supposedly of Joe Biden sucking on an infant's cheek, when in reality, it was actually the Mexican president who was doing it. You know, it was not Joe Biden. And I literally got the argument made to me. I need to stop bothering them with all my facts and my fact checking. That they should just be able to believe what they want to believe. No, that's not how the world works. I'm sorry. You are not allowed to post up false things about somebody, especially somebody like a presidential candidate, and not expect to get called out on it and even fact checked on it. But it was just that argument that kind of got to me, you know. You need to stop fact checking people. You need to stop, you know, with all these facts. Well, it's kind of the point. They're facts. Facts mean reality. They're the truth. They're the proof. They're what is. And to be fair, it's not the first time. Okay, it was the first time I heard the argument, but not the last time I heard the argument. You know, I heard several arguments made about um, you know, there was these couple women being interviewed on CNN, to give you an idea, and they were talking about a video. Oh yeah, we saw this video about this, that, and the other. Oh yeah, Joe Biden had fallen asleep during a meeting, and they said, oh, you know, that's been disproved already. And he showed her like, I need to stop. Sorry, I don't mean to block both lanes. I was expecting to turn. Really can't go much further forward. And hey, I'm not. Um. Anyways, and they showed them. They said, "Oh yeah, you know, people prove this wrong. That this is actually who it was, and that it was overlaid in this and that." And then one of the women really said, "Well, I don't think that's right. That, you know, people shouldn't go around fact checking like that. People should be allowed to believe what they want to believe." So stating it should be okay for people to post lies and let other people believe those lies, especially about something as important as an electoral candidate. And hearing that argument, like, it really shocked me. You know, it really stunned me to hear that. I need to really slow down because we're going into I wouldn't call it residential. I should even be going slower than this, really. It looks like our drop-off point is right here. Oh, it's right there. Duh. There it is. This has been an interesting trip, to say the least. All right. I should be able to park it where they need it, which is way... Oh, well... Now I don't know. You know what? I'm just gonna skip this one. This trip's been bad enough and long enough. I probably could pull this off, but I'm just gonna skip it. So I didn't get anything for the damage because it wasn't that badly damaged, fortunately. I also get to put another point in our long haul. We get to see what our new upgrades are for Scania. Looks like we get a new Highline cab. Oh yeah, we get our new engine. We get a new Highline cab. We get a new 6x2 chassis, which means not all the wheels are driving, but it has extra axle. And we get... Is that the new engine? Is that the... Or is it, I think this is the Tier 8 engine. These are 2009, though. I don't know. We'll have to go look. So what we need is the map. Because we need a place to rest and a garage, which is back here. I mean, there's a gas station here with a place to rest, but we really need a garage. So... So this is going to be one of those... I like how I just like started bombing out and never even looked the other way. Still, I've made a nice profit. Huh. Wonder if there's a train coming through. Again, we're just gonna pile on some speed. Because we're getting pretty close to where we need a rest. And it's not too far away, but it's far enough that I want to get there. Sadly, no dealership unlocked on this run. We're still on our hunt for a Iveco dealership. I might be able to buy online at this point. We'll have to look into that. We'll see if I can go to an Iveco dealership online. I gotta go to work in an hour. I leave here by 1:30. My pickup's at 2:10, and I pick up at agricultural. Yes, I know, I'm tired. I pick up at an agricultural high school, so it's not like really far away, but it's not close either. It's like about 10 miles from here. My bus is just parked up the street from where I live. It literally takes me like 2-3 minutes to get there at most. Don't worry, we're gonna rest. I just wish this road went straight. I mean, I'm almost tempted to see, if I didn't see that fence over there, just to drive through the middle. Slow down if you want to make the corner. Don't need to be in that big a rush. Yes, I know. I'm tired. Quit yawning. There's a garage right here. Open up. Okay. Service. Always service your truck first. Make sure it's in tip-top shape. All right, for our cabs, we can actually go high top, which would be 32,000. You know what? I'm not ready to go that far yet. Especially we got to do a 33,000 extended chassis, which gives us better on heavy cargo and uneven terrain. Also, engine-wise, we got a 300. I think this just dropped down. So we got a 400 horsepower, 2100 newton meters engine, another 15,000, which takes us away, which actually reduces normal cargo. That's hilarious, actually. But I see that as needed more than not. Go lay down, Bruce. Oh, I can actually put the side skirts on too now. I also get smaller fuel tanks, so I won't be stopping as much. So we do this, we're going to spend $51,000. But I want the upgraded engine. I want the better chassis. Although the chassis really is just a 6x2, meaning that only this axle here drives. This is just a weight carrying axle. So is that really necessary? It helps with hill traversal a little bit, a little less maneuverability. That's a big drawback on normal cargo. I think honestly I wait until I get a better, let's do this for now and then we'll see. We'll do this with just the engine upgrade. Okay, we'll just do the engine upgrade. Okay, because that's only 4,000 for the better engine. Now let's see if we can go online. No, I can't. Look, I got DAF, Man, Mercedes, Renault, and Scania. I actually need to move the map. Yeah, see, I can only buy online at the dealerships that I have unlocked. So I guess with that said, no. I guess with that said, wow. It actually wouldn't let me do this. Jeez. We can put on the bigger, but we lose so much fuel though. Look at how tiny these tanks get. Our fuel goes way down. And I wish it actually told us what our fuel went to as compared to this. Just look at the size of that tank on both sides. I think I just may hold off for now. I really think I'm just going to hold off for now. Was there anything like new inside? I don't think so. I don't think there was anything new. Actually, why not put a cell phone there? Really? 3,000 for a cell phone versus the wallet? Okay, we'll just stick with the wallet then. Alright, well, we'll just leave everything as is. All right, let's get our rest, which is over here. And then we'll just take a look at what our next job's going to be. We're in this town. 34 tons. This is definitely heavy cargo, and it's important delivery, which means it's got to be okay, 1,430 kilometers with a 207 ferry. That's $1,000. This is $34, 34 euros and 27 cents compared to 29 at 45,000. Oh, good lord. No, 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 no. Wait, I always do that. Go back to that. Not that one. That one. Good lord. No, this is the one we're going to take. At 34 tons, I mean, I handled 40 plus tons just fine. I should have no issue with 34 tons. And it's 34 tons of empty. How the hell, even in two trailers, does it come to 34 tons? I don't know. But that's going to be me done for this episode, folks. Was not really that great. Had that minor collision, and then the bigger one that actually damaged the trail a little bit. Quite a few speed fines. Yeah. Again, I'm getting back into doing this. So, see, that's just a track, a wheel. I'm just curious of like what other types of cargo there are. Just regular basic stuff usually, but I like looking anyways. Yeah. All right. So we'll set our GPS for that. The truck is fine. But until next time, folks, this is going to be One Big Bugger. I'm going to be signing out. I'll see you then.